you for coming to the homecoming skit night, first annual and last annual. I'm excited about this event. I have all you homecomers. I've sent you countless emails, and you're probably now have a face to blame for all of those. So, before we get started, I want to thank my team who has helped me do all of this. We have Annika who has helped me, Azam in the back. There's more. We got Sarah over here and Justin over there. Yeah, so tonight is SILUND's funniest home videos. So I had my minions go through the YouTube and find all of the funniest old skits that we have done. We're going to recreate some of them live for you, and we're also going to show you some on the screen because they're more hilarious with the original people doing it. So without further ado, we shall start.
Today is your day. You got this. A smile is the quickest way to brighten a room. Smile. Someone is thinking of you. You are beautiful and worth it. Compliment someone. You'll feel better than they do. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. So dance it out. Laugh it off. Be the sculptor of your dreams. You have to kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince. You are never too old, and it is never too late to be fearlessly authentic. Always make your past self jealous. Life happens between an inhale and an exhale. Life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. After every storm, there's a rainbow, no matter how long it takes to show up. So try to be a rainbow in someone else's cloud. Throw kindness around like confetti. Never go too long without a sunset. Never go to bed angry. Never go backward, and never give up. Everyone has a happy ending. If you're not happy, it's not the end. Live your life every day with no regrets. It'll be worth it. Wherever you are, be all there. We're all stories in the end. Just make it a good one. And always remember, it's not about where the adventure ends. Live, love, Dove.
Brought to you by the wrappers of Dove chocolate.
Hey, Brad. Yeah. Yeah, you really should say. In 2002, that was the first time this song was performed. But Brad Feston is responsible for it. Should be credited for it. And actually, you have to use your imagination too, because John Keller was here also that summer. And he brought a van full of instruments. I don't know, probably not too many of you that were here that summer, you remember that. But including an upright bass. I don't know how many students at North Dakota SIL have brought an upright bass with them for the summer. But there's a place in the song where there's kind of a dramatic pause. And you need to imagine that was when John Keller was spinning the bass around 3 or 4 times, and then well, you're supposed to be surprised when it starts again after the pause, so I guess I gave that away. Well, I get up every morning at the alarm clock's warning, get my books and head for Maryfield Hall. I'd rather go and see my buddies, but I got to do some studies, cause the teacher's got my back to the wall. about to go off the edge. Yeah, my eyes are seeing spots, and my tummy's tied in knots, trying to see down alveolar ridge. And I've been working at linguistics every day. Working at linguistics every day. I've been working at linguistics, not too well. Working at linguistics, know that SIL. Well, I'm trying to do my best, cause I got to take a test, and my board's keeping me out of bed. What's the prefix, what's the suffix? I've about had enough, making me think I'm in over my head. I'm doing phonology, I'm thinking about morphology, and I'm trying to tell a click from a pop. Complementary distribution causing nothing but confusion, and I can't get This is where it's spinning the face around. And I've been working on linguistics every day. Working on linguistics every day. Working on linguistics, not too well. Working on linguistics, know that
Are you Professor Marlette? Well, either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a volleyball court in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Let's try to say trouble right here at UND. Why, sure, I'm an athlete, certainly mighty proud to say it. I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours I spend in the morning at the gym are golden. Helps release endorphins, burns calories, and clears the mind. Did you ever wake up at 6 a.m. to run for 40 minutes on a treadmill? But just as I say it takes discipline and dedication to go to the gym, I say that any schmo can take and hit a ball over a net. And I call that slop, the first big step on the road to failing classes. I say first, an occasional game on a Monday, then Wednesdays too. Then the next thing you know, your student is playing for money on a Sunday night. Then listening to some old high school veteran here to tell him about overhand serves. Not a gentle underhand serve, but a strike to put the ball right down the throats. Like to see some newfound hotshot knock over a lady? It ain't right, well I should say. Now friends, let me tell you what I mean. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players on a team. Players that mark the difference between a hobby and a cult with a capital C, and that rhymes with V for volleyballoo. And all week long, your UND youth, I said, your whole class will be frittering. Frittering away their noon time, supper time, chore time too. Hit the ball over the net. Never mind getting syntax done, or the bathrooms cleaned, or the vowels practiced. Never mind restocking supplies till the soap runs out, and all the bathrooms on a Sunday morning, and that's trouble. Lots and lots of trouble. I'm thinking of the kids in daycare, bright-eyed young ones, peeking out the Smith Hall windows after school. You got trouble. Folks right here at UND. Trouble with a capital T, and that rhymes with V for volleyballoo. Now I know all you folks are the right kind of parents. I'm gonna be perfectly frank. Would you like to know what kind of social practice goes on while they're loafing around that court? They'll learn how to boo, learn how to diss, learn how to argue about a point and grumble at a redo, and brag and all about how they're gonna cover up a loss and mark it as a win one fine night. They leave the courtyard, head for a swim in the coulee, filthy water that's full of leeches and goose poo, a foul stench stuck in the clothes of your son, your daughter. Bleach can't remove the sting. Terrible. Volleyball is not a playground. Trouble!
Well, some of you may remember Kevin Zinzendorf. He showed up in the summer of 2007. Well, sort of. Nobody ever saw him, but we kept seeing evidence of him. Like this, in all his instruction, some students actually found an old wine decanter from Moldova, and it was preserved as diary in here that he had left behind. So we're going to add some excerpts here for your entertainment. So you can read it, but for those who can't read, I'm having difficulty reading right now too. Anyway, dear diary. My parents are friends with some linguists, so while we're here visiting the U.S., they took me to an SIL program in North Dakota. Unfortunately, there are no forests, rocky hills, or vineyards like in our beautiful country of Moldova. Fortunately, I got to watch Ken Pike do a monolingual demonstration. The skit night done by a bunch of linguistic nerds was pretty fun too. Maybe linguistics could be for me. If only I hadn't contracted chicken pox when we visited childcare. The contagion was spreading like wildfire among those small children. Okay.
Now I would like to welcome the Sign Language Hallelujah Chorus.
what really goes on behind the closed doors of the phonetics office?
Oh, yes. I understand now.
A lot of great things happen in this room. Here in the phonetics office, we actually stumbled across a new language. Abikambikabo, which happens to contain several speech sounds that do not occur in any other language. We're proposing symbols and technical names for these sounds that can be added to the IPA as soon as possible.
This is a voiceless, reclining lateral cheek trill. Ah, ka. Ah, ka.
We were even able to track down a native speaker of Abikambikabo who got some really interesting words.
Some phrase for somebody left the Venetian blinds open.
Bye.
Some phrase for 50 phonetic students drove the teacher crazy.
Asnazuma no no.
The word for my hovercraft is full of eels.
Fargo. Fargo.
The word for I lost my nose.
Shumfnati. Shumfnati.
June 2nd, 1986. Dear Diary, it's been over 10 years since I visited SIL the first time. Now I'm here to take Package A courses. I was just starting to get into the SIL rhythm of classes, homework, meals, hanging out in the dorm, etc. Suddenly I found out that my student visa had been rescinded, so I'm going back home to Moldova. I'm disappointed that I can't keep doing my student job in the kitchen in Skit basement, helping Mary Walker. She runs a tight ship and doesn't waste anything. When I eat the watermelon rind pickles, it makes me long for our typical Moldovan dishes like cabbage leaves, stuffed with seasoned rice and chopped vegetables. I'm sad to leave my new linguist friends and hope I can return to SIL someday.
I tear my hair, I've glasses there, it's got to be unreal. I've class this morning and afternoon with hardly time for meals. They said it would be difficult, but I thought that's no big deal. I'm wrong to be
Once upon a time, in a Carnfuntry, there lived a beautiful girl, and her name was Rindersella. Now Rindersella lived with her mugly other and 2 sad blisters. Also, in this same Carnfuntry, there was a very pransome hince. Now this pransome hince was going to have a bancy fall. And he invited all the people from Riles and Mound, especially the pitch people. Now Rindersella's mugly other and her 2 sad blisters, they went out to buy some drancy fesses to wear to this bancy fall. But Rindersella couldn't go because all she had to wear were some old reardy dags. So finally, the night of the bancy fall arrived, and Rindersella couldn't go, so she just cat down and sried. And she was kitting there, shryin', when all at once there appeared before her, her Gary Mudfather. And he touched her with his wagic mond, and there appeared before her a sick boach and Hicks white sources to take her to the bancy fall. But he said, "Now Rindersella, you be sure and be home before midnight, or I'll turn you into a tumpkin." When Rindersella arrived at the bancy fall, this pransome hince met her at the door because he had been watching all this time behind a wooden window. And Rindersella and the pransome hince danced all night. And they lell in fav. And all at once, the mid-clock struck night. And Rindersella staged down the rares, and just as she beached the rodham, she slopped her dripper. So the next day, the pransome hince went all over the Carnfuntry, looking for the beautiful girl who had slopped her dripper. Finally, he came to Rindersella's house. Well, he tried it on her mugly other, and it fitn't it. Then he tried it on her 2 siggly usters, and it didn't fit. Then he tried it on Rindersella, and it fit it. It was exactly the sight rise. So they got married and lived happily ever afters. Now the story of the Maury is this. If you go to a bancy fall and you want to have a pransome hince lull in love with you, don't forget to slop your dripper.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thank you for that presentation. You can go out the door and wait a few minutes while we're making our decision.
Thank you.
Hey!
Hey!
How'd it go?
I think it went fine.
Oh.
They're in their meeting now.
Oh, good. Well, maybe we can just sit here and wait, and
Okay.
we'll be out in just a little bit.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, no problem.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah, he did a good job. I think it's probably just, formatting things at this point.
Yeah, is this an 11-point type?
Yeah, that could be 11. Does the graduate college want 12 point?
Well, they've been in there for a while. You think everything's okay?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Okay.
I think it'll be all right.
You know what I've had going through my head all day? The theme from The Godfather.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah, that Robert De Niro.
De Niro was in the second one.
No, that was the first one. Michael Corleone.
The second one.
No, it was Robert De Niro was in the first one.
It wasn't Robert De Niro, it was Al
Been in
Pacino.
there for almost an hour now. That can't be good.
Did they seem dissatisfied in the question period?
No. Are they shouting in there?
No. Michael was played by Al Pacino in all 3 movies. De Niro was Vito Corleone.
Vito was played by Marlon Brando.
That was in the first movie.
If I don't get my degree this summer, I can't teach in the fall.
Could you find other work?
We just bought a house and we already can't keep up with the payments.
Oh.
In the first movie, we see Michael become the Godfather. In the second movie, we see Vito become the Godfather.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. It's out of order.
It was a flashback.
No, I thought in the second movie, Michael has his brother Frodo killed.
It was Fredo, not Frodo. This is not Lord of the Rings.
But that was in the second one, right?
Problem with the draft? They seemed happy with it when they looked at it. Could there be something wrong this late in the game?
That wouldn't be fair.
I spent 9 years of my life for this 7-year degree.
I couldn't get into the third one either.
No, the plot with the Pope was way too far-fetched.
I didn't care about any of the new characters.
Yeah.
It was a waste. It was too bad, that trilogy.
I just don't know what I'll do.
Well, is there anything I can do?
Rally up the people and tell everyone to take their 2 pieces of fruit out of the cafeteria every day, and I'm gonna open up a fruit stand.
Well, it's ridiculous to sit here and argue about it. Let's just get out of here and go check Wikipedia. We can get a plot synopsis.
Great. Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we go back to my office. I've got the internet.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It's pretty good.
Look it up there. That's good. Yeah.
Well, did he pass?
Oh!
Yeah.
Stephen, yeah.
The font thing.
Oh, the font thing. Oh, yeah. Check with the graduate school and make sure you got the right font size.
Okay, anything else?
Probably the margins. Check the margins.
Yeah.
And the content?
Well, there were a few things we were, with the plot, the analysis we need to look into. Yeah.
And?
Well, we need to check on, we gotta do a little bit more research.
Research.
We'll get back to you.
We'll get back to you.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
independent state. With a freer political situation, I was able to get a visa to attend SIL this summer. My new opportunity to take those package A courses. Unfortunately, it is the year of a massive flood in Grand Forks. Such a disaster. Downtown and the UND campus underwater. Books and journals in the basement of Chesterfield's ruin. We were forced to move to the college in Valley City. Unfortunately, on a smaller campus, it was challenging for me to stay incognito. My parents thought it best that I return home so as not to be noticed by the press.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Kermit, and that's not my nickname. And by the way, I came before the frog. Anyway, I came here along with Steve and Kathy Marlett back in 1974, and 75 and 76, and saw shots of the hallway that we stayed in, and the way I took care of all the stress was to walk on my hands up and down the hallway. And so I now, I will be 69 in a couple days from now, July 9th, and I still can do it. You're interested in me proving it? Yes! Huh? Actually, I practice this every time I'm asked to preach in the pulpit. I'll share a little bit more of that. Part of it was walking on my hands and standing on my hands. Standing is actually harder than walking. Now, so that the rest of you can see it, I praise the Lord. I'm a kind of short version of a Norwegian. But anyway. Okay, so the rest of you can see it. I can stand on my hands 5 different ways. You saw one of them. Okay, what's my name? Kermit. Kermit the frog. Okay, yeah. Frog. And frogs can stand in their hands. Okay. Now, the next one. This is hard on a full stomach. Okay, that's 3 ways. The 4th way, on this one I have to cheat because my arms are too short. I have to do it on my fingertips. Okay, the 5th is the hardest of them all. Only 2 people in the world have been able to do this. The other one died. So watch carefully. Okay? 5 ways to stand in your hands. I'm standing on my hands. When my mother passed away in like 2000, I shared at a large Baptist church, and I felt glad to have the young people come forward. And afterwards, after the service, my dad said, "You should have stood in your hands for him." So I thought to myself, well, first of all, we should obey our parents, right? But then I thought, well, I think, yeah, maybe I'll do that. So the next time I actually did, and I've done this many times, and I thank the Lord for giving me that extra skill of setting my hands. Because when I share with people, I say, probably 10 years from now, you're probably going to forget about me. I says, I don't care if you forget about me. I don't want you to forget the message that I shared with you about, how many languages, over 1,000 still, where they don't have anything in Scripture. Next time you look at the Olympics, you see somebody standing in your hands, think, oh yeah, some crazy missionary stood on his hands. What did we say? Oh yeah, we're supposed to pray. So anyway, okay, now I want you guys to be involved. You've all been sitting there for a while. I've done this many times in conferences and for fun night and shared night and for Skit and fun night, and in the Philippines and in India. And so, how many of you guys know Wadliacha? You want to come up here and help me? Come on, come on, come on. Wadliacha. Come on and help me. Huh? Come on up. Help me.
It's a Girl Scouts one.
Okay. Everybody, stand up. Okay. Bob. Okay. Wadliacha. I'm not the best singer, so help me. Wadliacha. Ready, go. Wadliacha. Wadliacha. Doodly-doo. Doodly-doo. Wadliacha. Wadliacha. Doodly-doo. All you gotta do is do it. I like that. I like that. Do. Okay, wait a second. Any of you got it? You're pretty good. Some of you guys are kind of. Okay, everybody, hand to the nose, then to the ear, and then back to the nose, and then over to the ear. Simple lang. Pretty simple, right? Okay, one last time. Everybody involved, huh? Get some exercise. Ready? Go. Wadliacha, wadliacha, doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Wadliacha, wadliacha, doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Simple little song, not much to it. All you gotta do is do it. I like that. Let's go. Wadliacha, wadliacha, doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Wadliacha, doodly-doo, doodly-doo. That's it, one little. Not much to it. All you gotta do is do it. I like the rest. I like that. Doodly-doo. Wadliacha, 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 doodly-doo, doodly-doo.
My travels had taken me all over this great big world, looking for one man, just one man, who could teach me Mandarin. I had a good feeling about this day, but then again, you can never be too sure. Hello, I'm here for the Mandarin elicitation session. Thank you.
I didn't even speak Mandarin, but I wasn't about to tell him that. I was just trying to get some homework done and he walked into my room.
Come on in. Have a seat. Thank you. Any bun here? Sure. Sure, I'll eat the honey bun. Little honey bun never hit anybody. Perhaps we could start with a little background information. Name?
Chai Yang Yu.
Birthplace?
China.
Years of speaking Mandarin?
Roughly 29 and 6 months.
Other languages spoken?
Oh well, English, Kiswahili, Kikamba, Kikuyu, Kiluo, Kinyarwanda, and a number of them.
I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but something told me this guy might not actually be Chinese. But I wanted to find out for sure. Mandarin phrases. How do you say hello?
Jumbo.
How's your family?
Habari ya jamii.
I can't wait for Chinese New Year.
What's Chinese New Year? That's kind of complicated.
Complicated?
Yeah, I'm trying to get an easy version for you. Siwezi kungojea Chinese New Year.
There was one thing I noticed. Chinese New Year sounded a lot like he was saying Chinese New Year. Is that so? Interesting. I wanted to let him know that I was in charge. I decided to up the ante. Alright, what do you say we try to write some Chinese characters on the chalkboard?
Oh yeah. I knew what he was up to, but I decided to play his game.
What else? Alright, I would like to see this one. House.
House. Okay. House.
That's house. Okay. How about happy?
Happy. Big circle over here.
Circles over there. Interesting. That's happy. Alright, how about one more?
Yes.
How do you draw not actually Chinese?
What did you say?
Oh, I think we both know what I'm trying to say. It's very obvious that you don't speak Mandarin, nor do you write the characters.
Neither do you speak Chinese nowhere. I don't think you will ever get anybody who speaks Chinese Mandarin anywhere in this world.
Fair point. Excuse me, phone call. Yeah. Oh, room 229? Oh.
At that moment, two thoughts were going through my mind. One, Skit didn't have a very good ending. Two, that honey bun. Honey bun.
It was the wrong place, the wrong man. But someday I'd return. Someday. But not today. I was too tired.
Okay, time for some serious history. I'm sure you're ready for that. There's been a lot of demolition here on campus, and this is one of the buildings that SIL used to live in, for real, across University Avenue. I think they demolished the two buildings, Larimore and Sayre. So Steve and I attended UND-SIL quite a while ago, and this is where we started our linguistics studies. We love the staff, we love the teachers, they were great. That year we had some really good ones. These are the department heads. After completing SIL, we went to further training at Jungle Camp in southern Mexico, a land of many contrasts. On our way down by train, we got a special glimpse of a country and enjoyed many spectacular sights. There was a village over there as we went past that we thought we'd like to go back and explore someday. I don't know if you can tell, but it's back here in the background. And this is another place that we passed. Well, after we got off the train, we headed by car to jungle camp and got to cross the longest bridge in Mexico. Can we turn the lights back up? Yeah.
Turn the lights back.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's part of the show. After we got off the train, we headed to jungle camp and got to cross the longest bridge in Mexico. Off the screen and to the right was a nice picnic area. We enjoyed our time at jungle camp and made lots of friends and learned how to make, I guess they call them champas or something in the jungle, and met a lot of nice people down there. This is Amy, our jungle camp nurse. Well, we finally finished there and we went to a small remote village. Here's some of the scenery in our area. If you look closely, you can tell there are some cactus there, and I could name them, and some of the bushes, but I won't. Anyway, the people were pretty friendly at first and welcomed us, but we noticed that some of the natives were quite shy and tended to disappear quickly. But after a while, they got to know us better, and they disappeared more slowly. Soon we were able to find some land and build a house. A really nice house. Here's a shot of the house. And here's a shot of the interior. There were some really nice people there. We got to know many, many nice ones. Here's our landlord and his half-brother. It's a difficult and isolated area, and we tried to get along with less, so we had only the bare necessities brought in on the Over the years, some of our community services have been in medical work, which we've done a lot of. We had a lot of good linguistic help. And here's a shot of Juan, our main helper. I'm not sure what he was doing. He was pretty good at something, but... Steve thought we needed a printing press with a hard disk interface, and although he's not much of a handyman, finally he was able to build one in our backyard. Here are some of the lovely young women in our area. Is there any way to focus this? No? Well, I'll move on. Here's a picture of Rosa, a little girl that we saw really often. And after a few years of work, we finally began a literacy program, and the class often met under this tree, the only tree in the village. That's our first class below the tree. I think, oops, I think the photo was cut off, sorry. Oh, another picture of Rosa. I don't know how that got in here. Well, here's a group shot of something. And wait, what am I doing? Up. Displaced. Anyway, the number of readers began to grow, and although the people didn't have a lot of resources, they got together and built a nice church. This might be out of sync, but anyway. Our director heard of our success and wanted to fly in for a visit. Here he is landing. He's the one on the top. It's a difficult and there we go. Wait a minute, hold on. Here's a group shot of something, and I think that's Rosa. Speaking of Rosa, on the right in the white dress. The man in the middle with the hat was really a character. I mean, I could tell stories all about it. One story had to do with his family. He took his family to, what was that story?
I don't think you should tell him.
Moving on. This is a photo of our village from the air. That's our house in the middle with a Chevy parked in front. That car took us a lot of miles. We loved that car, and especially liked the color. Oh, you can see how really hot and dry and dusty it is. Well, some people got back home, felt sorry for us, and they got the resources together and built us a small pool, which we really enjoyed. So it really hasn't been that hard. Well, in closing, we hope you will remember us and not forget us in the busy days that lie ahead. Thank you.
June 4th, 2008, Dear Diary. I'm back at SIL equipped with all sorts of high-tech equipment. I've set up a video camera in the literacy mega course hidden behind their snack tables so that I can watch from my hidden room off the now unused tunnel between Johnstone and Fulton. Without needing to enroll for the sign language courses, I'm also getting live feed from the video cameras in those classes. What a way to audit! Getting into and out of Wilkerson is a bit tricky, but most people haven't noticed me sitting off away from the crowds. I'm getting motivated and hope that I can be ready to defend my thesis by 2019. It might be tricky because I'll have to stand in front of people to answer questions about my obscure topic, tracing the link between oofta, brown dogs, duck, duck, goose, and the Moldovan language.
So Sarah's coming down for our last skit tonight. I want to thank you all for coming. Remind you about the poo party happening tonight in West Hall on the ground floor at 9 o'clock. Wear your pajamas and bring blankets and pillows because if you don't need a chair, you'll be on the ground. Then other things I want to remind you of. The picnic is tomorrow from 4 to 6 at University Park. There's worship on Sunday at 1. Past Kate forgot to tell current Kate that she said 1:30 before. That's wrong. It's 1 o'clock now. 1 o'clock. Worship is at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And then there's going to be a remembrance time after that, about at 2. So if you don't want to come to the worship and you might consider coming to the remembrance, we're going to share old stories, and Ayana asked me if there was a time that we could just sit and cry together. This is it. So thank you for coming homecoming, and
these books, are they neat? Wouldn't you think my library's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm a girl who's learned everything? Look at this course schedule, isn't it cool? Aren't I here for my 12th year of school? Wouldn't you think I'm a girl who's learned everything? I've got data and papers aplenty. I've got tone, melody.
Kate, you have to stop. I can't do this. I can't. Stop the music. No, I can't do this. I can't do it. We have to stop.
What? Why? I thought we agreed you would do a reprise of your PhD song for homecoming skit night. What's the deal?
How can I sing about wanting a PhD when I do not want a PhD? When this MA is over, I am never writing another paper again. It is giving me stomach ulcers. Kate.
Can you just pretend for one night? It's homecoming. You gotta keep the people entertained.
I have to be true to myself. Can I just tell you some of the ideas that I've had for an alternative, and you can see if you like them. I've been working on some other Disney songs that feel just truer to my experience.
Okay, we'll listen, but we don't have much time to put something new together.
Relax, it'll be fun. Okay, so this is the first one. It's from that awesome song from Frozen. Tone is hard, tone is hard. Can't think about tone anymore. Tone is hard, tone is hard. Especially when you have complex moral dynamics.
I think that may be a little too negative and also too much about you. We want something that can appeal to everyone.
Okay, I had another one. Do you remember The Fox and the Hound?
Yes.
Okay, so this is one. We're the best of friends, having so much fun together, but pretty soon it's time to say goodbye and cry to all your best friends.
Yeah, Sarah, I said less sad.
I just came up with like 5 of these, and they're all sad. Like
Which ones did you do?
Okay, Out There from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Be Prepared from The Lion King.
That's terrifying.
Somewhere Out There from Five Goes West. And then that one song that doesn't have any words that they played during the montage of Up when the old lady died.
Those are probably the saddest songs possible. I think Disney may be taking you in too dark a direction.
Probably.
Yeah, what we need is something fun, something rousing, something that will lift people's hearts and get stuck in their head for days. Like Albert and Anita said, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened.
I will try to think of something else. Okay, What? Who's playing?
Is Steve practicing?
Okay, I think I've got it.
You got it?
I think I got it.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready? Do you hear the students sing the song of glory days, loving the people here